Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, January the 27th, 2022. Welcome to the Zodiac Chatline. I am your host, Tanae, and here is my co-host, Cassie. We are here today with ya. What's up, Cassie?
Not much. We're here.
Girl.
We are all surviving the tail end.
Listen, get your cousins, Mercury and Venus. They on the loose. They is too wild. They is wildin'. I need them to stop retrograding and just stop it. I mean, because this whole week has been insane. My day today, I was like, I'm praying. And I'm usually good. I was saying to Woosah, when I say I told my coworkers, I need to take a mental health minute. They were like, are you okay? I'm okay. But you got to recognize when you have to take a mental health minute. And Venus and Mercury has caused that pause.
Yeah. You know, I feel like it's been trying to be in the middle of a tornado. Like, how can I stand in the sweet spot of the tornado? Because most of the stuff is not originating from me, thank goodness. You know, this like knock on wood in my very close tiny bubble that I still have. People are pretty good, but like around,
ooh, child.
all around.
Yeah.
So that is to say, we are at the tail end of Venus retrograde. That bad bitch goes direct tomorrow.
Hey!
Get your hair cut. You're gonna feel your self-love just bubbling back to life. Like, I'm looking forward to this transit.
You're gonna want to pamper yourself a lot more now because you're feeling good. You want to go out, flirt, you know. Send that DM.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Be cute.
Get out there. Get that little slow swag. It doesn't have to, we're not saying rush into anything. You know, no U-Haul lesbian it. Not that that's me, but I'm just saying, don't do that. Take your time. Girl, stop. Take your time. Take your time with it. But if you find something that's been interesting, if you've been in a relationship and you and your partner have been working on just really trying to get closer and finding longer term goals for your relationship and you as a unit, it is time to kind of push forward on that, allow that to happen. And even your own personal goals and dreams and ambitions, it's time to really focus on what you value and love, especially yourself. And that's why Cassie and I are huge fans of warm and fuzzy feelings. Okay, mostly Cassie, but
yes,
I'm gonna go
enjoy like a big, just the universe giving you a nice warm hug and telling you, go forth, feel love. You know, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be real nice, guys.
But not today. So I'm just kidding.
And Mercury is still retrograde, unfortunately, for a week. So you will continue to experience technical difficulties.
Yes.
We're almost through it.
But by Valentine's Day, it'll be good. You know, everything will be cleared out. Everything will feel, and around Valentine's Day is a full moon and it's in Leo. So that's going to definitely be a very heart-centered, loving type of energy, and everything that we went through since the winter solstice, because Venus was retrograde back last year, started in December 19th. So it's been a hot minute that she's been just really not luxuriating like that. She has really gone in to withdraw and find the reserves of her own love so that she can now come back out and be like, okay, y'all.
Yes, I'm ready to give to you.
She ready.
Yeah. Enjoy
ready,
that.
Ready for the world.
That's right.
So today, before we get to this, I want you guys to know that we have our producer, Coral, who is always, she is the third in this trifecta that you love all the time and support. So we always want to give a shout out to Coral. She is in the chat right now. So if you want to drop a question or anything, she's there watching. She'll flash it to us. So we'll talk about that later on after we get through the rest of this show. Again, want to go because we have hit 200 followers on Instagram.
What?
In less
Creeping
than a month,
on up.
we like to celebrate small successes, and we are so grateful for everybody that has been on the show, that has reached out to us, that wants to be on the show. We are currently scheduling up through March now, so get your name in there. It is the Zodiac Chatline at gmail.com. So please, 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 please. And now, without further ado, we're going to give her all the grace that she needs. We are going to talk about what? The moon.
The moon.
Cassie's at home.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm with you, girl. I love it. I stare at her all the time.
Mm-hmm. So the moon is probably the second biggest influence in someone's zodiac in astrology, and certainly in somebody's natal chart. Its placement is a huge influence on your emotional and inner life, because just like the moon, our emotions can change so fast. And like the moon, if you can recognize your own emotional cycles, you'll realize that's exactly what they are. Cycles. And that will help enable you to get through the bad times, because good times will be on the heel of it. Mm-hmm. But at its worst, you just get absorbed in the day-to-day changes of tides, and it can be quite overwhelming to live in your emotional self. So knowing where your moon placement is can help shed light on the patterns of what's going on in your soul.
And a lot of times your moon is only seen by people really close to you, your loved ones, your family. It's not always displayed for acquaintances or people that you don't know. That's usually when they see maybe your rising sign or even your sun sign. Your moon sign is very personal. It's very private, but because it's very deep, it's your emotions. And sometimes it reflects the energy of how your mother was. So it's a very maternal type of energy. It's a very receptive energy. And knowing your strengths and challenges with each moon sign and how you can best use that energy is always helpful. We all know that full moons bring out the crazy. So you all know that, you have to take a step back, but it's really good to know your moon sign.
Yeah. And to that point, when you know your moon sign, if you hear that, say, the moon is going to be full in the sign, like you find out, oh, my moon is in Taurus, crazy. And then you hear, oh, the next full moon is in Taurus, you might expect a little extra emotional, full moon response at that time. Might tug on your heartstrings a little bit more. So it's useful to know for that reason too.
Speaking right to you. But I love, I think Cassie and we love moons. That's how we operate.
Moon is big witch energy. I mean, the moon has always been associated with witchcraft, because witchcraft is associated with the nighttime too. And of course, because the moon cycle mirrors a woman's menstrual cycle, and because men don't bother to learn about the female body historically, no offense to the men in the chat, they think it's voodoo that we can bleed, and then the moon's also full every 4 weeks, so clearly there's a connection there.
A little connection, but hey, it's always just about getting to know yourself. And I'm with you. The moon energy is, especially for women, it touches us deeply. I definitely follow that cycle. So, hey, moon are over here. Right. So you ready?
Yeah, let's start it off.
So we're going to get into the signs, and I just want everybody to understand, we're talking about your moon sign. It is not the same as your sun sign. So just the energy is going to be expressed differently. So there is something for everybody in this, I promise you, because everybody has a moon sign.
I will say too, it's not absolutely necessary to know your birth time to find out your moon sign. If you know approximately the time of day you were born, you can probably figure it out. You'll have to Google like an astrological moon table for the year you were born, and they're easy to find. They're all over the interwebs. And you'll be able to see if the moon was in 2 signs that day or just 1, because it takes about 3 days for the moon to change into a different sign of the zodiac. So if you don't know your birth time, but your mom knows you were born, after Oprah, then you could probably figure it out.
That's a good early shout out to an Aquarian whose birthday's coming up this week.
Yes, the goat.
Yes. All right. So we're going to start, and Cassie and I are going to alternate the signs. So we're going to begin at the top of the zodiac, as we always do, with the lovely Aries moon. And this is my personal moon sign. So I have a lot of experience with it, and I like to call it fire in the hole. It is very impulsive. It is very childlike. It can be sometimes immature. I know myself. It is impulsive. It likes a lot of change. It's a very independent moon. Can, crush on people real quick and burn out just as fast. Anger will do the same thing. These emotions just, that it's not that they're not necessarily deep. Let's just be real. They're not deep emotions. But they're passionate. If they're anything, passionate, but they're not always deep. There may be other signs in your chart to reflect that deepness, but yeah, no, a moon sign. It's
Your Aries moon is not the one.
That's not the part of my chart that makes me deep, even though I do feel deeply.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I would say the biggest thing I've had to learn as an Aries moon, and what I encourage all you to learn, is how to establish between your needs and your wants. And those tend to blend and be a fine line, but you always know you just have to decide to not let your ego decide for you.
Oh, good advice. So, as a, quick summary, how does an Aries moon impact a personality?
It allows the personality to be a lot more passionate in initial encounters, like a lot of starting energy, because it's cardinal. It allows it to be a lot more passionate. It's quick. It's direct. You're going to know that an Aries moon is like, hey, feeling you. It definitely gives the rest of the sign, or the rest of the energy, especially a sun sign, a lot more outgoing energy, and a lot more take charge, action oriented energy.
All right. I'm
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. I'm with that.
All right.
Second up in the zodiac, Taurus. So if you have a moon in Taurus, congratulations, you won the moon lotto, because in Taurus, the moon is considered exalted. So there are four main designations in astrology. Are they called dignitaries? There's a term for it, but they're placements where the planet does well or poorly, depending on the placement. So exaltation is kind of the ideal. It's not at home in the sign of Taurus. The moon actually rules the sign of Cancer. That is what they call dominion, meaning that the planet is in the sign that it rules. But when it's in exaltation, it's basically in the sign where its influence would be best expressed. And for me, that makes sense if you have a moon in Taurus, because in Taurus, it gets the best of the moon's qualities, which is the depth of emotion, the loyalty, the mothering kind of like security building instinct, but it can actually apply it practically, and it's subject to far fewer of the mood swing tendencies that you would have if you had, say, a moon in Cancer, just theoretically. And it's a very harmonious placement for the moon. It's the moon is ruled by Venus, or I'm sorry, Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so the moon and Taurus kind of vibe. They're both, traditionally feminine energy, and they can feed off of the best of each other, which is, in Venus, we have the things that we love and value and find beautiful. And in the moon, we have the things we're emotionally attached to. And if you can marry those two, that's you living your best emotional life, basically. So moon and Taurus, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Okay, so how does a moon in Taurus impact your personality?
A Taurus moon makes you more emotionally stable, more monogamous, than the average bear. Taurus is a very monogamous sign too. And it makes you see more beauty in humanity.
Now that might be worth a 10 out of 10. All right, so next up, we have the fun little trickster Gemini moon. And with the moon in Gemini, that since its ruler is Mercury, that allows for a lot of changeable energy in that area. And Gemini is also a mutable air sign. So again, more changeable energy in the emotions. So it may not be maybe emotional changeability in the feelings, but definitely in the mind and how the person thinks of or processes the feelings. Gemini moons tend to be, you know, charming and witty and really talkative about things, but not necessarily like their feelings. I feel like any type of air sign energy for a moon creates some sort of detachedness from the feelings overall. And so it may be a challenge to really find that. And I encourage anybody with a Gemini moon, especially, to really, I know this is going to be asking a lot, slow down and process, really think about your feelings in a way that you can process them, because they're going to change all the time. I mean, everything is changeable. Nothing's really permanent. We're all just kind of an illusion in ourselves, right? But for a Gemini moon, really just slowing down and processing all of the energy that is making you always changeable and always on the go. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to dispense with the question asking. We're getting wild. All right, I'm just moving on to Moon in Cancer.
Oh, okay.
I'll find the cut downs.
Okay.
So,
yes, we are just doing it, Mercury. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So if you have a moon in Cancer, again, your moon is then in domicile. So that is the sign that it rules. I have a Cancer moon, and
no,
it
you
is
don't.
a wild ride out here, y'all. Like,
she loves it.
I do love it. I do. So if your moon is in any of the water signs, really, it underscores the deep emotional, your deep emotional nature, right? Like the moon rules everyone's inner emotional nature, but some people's inner emotional nature is not actually all that emotional. Not so if you have the moon in any of the water signs, but especially Cancer. And in Cancer, the moon's power is on 10. You know what I mean? For better and worse. Like, I think there's probably nobody who is more easily able to connect emotionally to people than people with a Cancer moon. And I have a lot of Cancer placements, and I am like addicted to emotionally connecting with people. I mean, I worked as a bartender for years, and part of the reason I had to stop doing that was because it was this constant flow of emotional energy, like taking on people's emotional energy and giving mine out. And if you have a Cancer moon or any water sign moon, but again, I would say especially Cancer and Pisces, you really have to guard against giving away way too much of your emotional energy and figuring out ways to have boundaries with people and not allow every single one to tug on your heartstrings. But it's, beautiful because you can connect with the most lovely emotions that exist out there too, and have the capacity to feel great love and, may not always find, I didn't touch on this with Moon and Taurus. I should have. They tend to have luck in relationships too. That Venus, ruler of Taurus, is kind of a blessing in that arena. Moon and Cancer people will gravitate toward long-term relationships, but they can have to go through some emotional trials before they get the right one.
We're going to call them trials.
We'll call them trials. Yeah. And so a moon in Cancer makes you more in tune with the emotions of others, and also gives you bigger boobs because we rule the
Hey,
boobies.
we like titties on here.
Mhm.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a good,
Okay,
8 out of
okay.
10 recommend my Cancer moon
Okay.
placement.
I didn't know we were doing that, but
No,
but I'm gonna
I
let
won't
you
do
keep
it for,
doing
I
that.
don't have a
Okay.
recommendation for any of the rest of them. So,
There you
what
told her.
about,
She told you her two favorites. All right.
yeah.
So next up we have the lovely Leo moon. Now this
Mm.
is quite I found this quite to be an interesting placement.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons, but let's just start for the main one. Leo is ruled by the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So to have it as your moon sign, you want your emotions to shine, but that's like an inward shine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing about Leo moons is that they do need the validation, but it does come from their family and friends. They really want that. That is what they crave. They crave that from their close family and friends when your moon sign is in Leo, because your emotions are nurtured and happiest there when you have that kind of attention. They do like to be performers. Especially for their close family and friends. I think they're not as emotional as you would think they would be,
Mm.
because as dramatic as they are, they're not going to be outwardly dramatic with their emotions in front of other people unless it's their partner or their family member. Other than that, they're going to be very dignified, if you will, in
Mm-hmm.
person. But don't think that their emotions don't feel anything, because again, Leo is fixed fire. So if they feel some kind of way, they're going to feel some kind of way. And it's okay, and they will let it be known, but you're also going to know too. And that fire might burn a little bit longer than an Aries moon, because Leos are just going to let you know, hey, they're regal. They're the ones that you want that from. It allows the personality to shine inward out. Um,
Mm.
it gives somebody who I don't know. There may be somebody with a Leo, like Leo Sun, Leo Moon. That would be interesting. But normally it's probably maybe mixed with an air sun or something like that. So that is a benefit, that it does tend to blend with the other elements within that. So it gives that person, just that extra bit of je ne sais quoi charm.
Yeah, some inner shine.
Yeah.
Not one, but 2 Leo moon children I have birthed.
Really? Surprise!
But guess who loves to give their love to their children? Oh, it's
Only
me.
you.
I just want
Only
to
you.
eat
You
them. They're
weren't
so
supposed to have
adorable.
any other moon sign children. They would not have gotten, like, they knew. They were like, we are picking her. Like, he came first and he was like, oh, yeah, this is it. He was like, come on, sis, you coming? And then she came on down and she was
That's
like,
right.
yes, brother, you got this one. We got it here.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah, they were lucky. So what's up?
No.
Who's up next?
Oh, next we have Moon in Virgo.
I
This,
like this moon.
this one was an interesting one to think about and kind of consider, but it's can be a very good moon placement. It can
Mm-hmm.
turn very self-critical very
Mm.
quickly, which is something that Moon and Virgo people should try to be as gracious with themselves as they are with the people in their life, because they deeply love the people in their life and they want to serve their community, their family and friends, the people that they care about. They're pretty, they have a high standard of who they let into that group. But once you're there, I mean, a Moon in Virgo person would give you the shirt off their back,
Yeah.
right? But they are have a very high expectation of others and of themselves even more. And, that can be great if it's paired with the right sun sign. If you're maybe if you had like an Aries sun or something, some energy that usually is harder to wrangle and, you know, is so egotistical that it doesn't give a shit if it actually does what it says it's going to do, right?
Yeah,
Whereas a
yeah.
Virgo is like, you know, doing small steps to like make sure that they have all their contingencies covered, right? And that's great, but it's you know, for me, I was thinking a concern would be that, you know, you're too self-critical and just
Mm-hmm.
hard on yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, try to get out in nature, connect, you know, to the
Mm-hmm.
earth. That's good for all moon signs in with, you know, with
Oh,
earth sign
yes.
placements. Like, take some time to look at a tree and, you know, just breathe in some fresh oxygen, because I promise you, you need it.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it
Um,
also generally like lends a little less moodiness, you know, to someone's personality. And
mm,
yeah,
yeah,
it's a solid moon
yeah, I
placement.
think so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so next up we have the lovely Libra
Mm.
as a moon sign, and I will like to shout out that we did have our last guest last week. She had a Libra moon.
Mm-hmm.
But she was all air, so that was a whole nother
Mm-hmm.
conversation. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it. But
In the chat, we've got our lovely Leo moon sister. Pew
Bow,
pew
bow,
pew.
bow.
Mm-hmm.
But a Libra moon is definitely loves to be in a relationship. They feel that they can express their emotional energy best in a partnership. Libra is also ruled by Venus. It's an air sign and it's cardinal. So it is all of the things of like starting a very balanced partnership and having the emotions be balanced and always working through. They're going to discuss the problems. They're gonna say we need to talk about this. And if you tend to argue with a Libra moon, I'm not sure if you'll actually win that argument because they're it's just don't. As Cassie said, I would encourage all air signs to ground all of the thoughts that you have about your feelings and like recognize them. Like, don't just keep thinking about them. That's silly. And for fire signs, I would say for sure, you know, take the time to let out your fire. Do something like, you know, get that burst of energy. But we love the Libra moon because it's a peaceful type of moon energy. It doesn't it probably doesn't outwardly express it as much. It's probably a very inwardly expressed emotions, but
Mm.
at least they're balanced. And you know, I bet you their houses are always just, you know, aesthetics around them, be like how they feel, how things look, they look in their relationship. Like that's, you know, it's important. So I would say if you're a Libra moon, you maintain the balance. You do not allow somebody else to maintain the balance. You maintain the balance within your emotions because they're yours. And that's the best way you're going to find it.
Mm. Yes, yes, that's good advice for a Libra moon. Um, so up next we have the moon in Scorpio,
Ooh.
where she is in fall in Scorpio because so we talked about the moon in Taurus is exalted, meaning it's kind of reached its highest vibration possible. In fall, it's the opposite. And it's not that it's the lowest vibration per se. Like I don't want to be like, "Oh, you have a moon in Scorpio, you're evil." But like basically that is it getting into its shadow energy. And in the moon, you know, the shadow side of our emotions are the emotions we don't want to acknowledge, anger and jealousy and anger again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
and and Scorpios are already, you know, known to be dealing with those, you know, Scorpio energy deals with those darker aspects of human nature, and the moon in that sign just means that you feel very deeply, especially identifying with pain very strongly, yours and others, and you may be in denial about how deeply you feel hurt. Like they're they a Scorpio is placements are so secretive, and the moon in Scorpio tries to hide its feelings from itself. Like moon in
That's a lot of
Scorpio,
work.
yeah, moon in Scorpio people don't want to acknowledge how intensely they feel a lot of things. I imagine this would be a very tricky placement for a man, frankly. Like it, I I just think men aren't socialized to really feel okay expressing all of their emotions, and like that's a lot of emotions. If you have a moon in Scorpio, that's super duper intense. But the flip side of that, if you're able to work in the shadow energy, is they're very creative, have very like deep, intense imagination. I'm pretty sure I read that Alfred Hitchcock was a Moon Scorpio placement. Um, I
As
forget.
you said, challenging for men with this placement.
Yeah. Um, and they're super ambitious and can accomplish a lot, especially
Oh, yeah.
because Scorpio placements have a tendency to not run their mouths about what they're gonna do, and instead they just make those moves behind the scene, and then all of a sudden they pop up like, hey, I'm here, like winning, and moon in Scorpio, I think it, if you can find the emotional channel that is going to allow you to release some of those
Mm,
painful emotions
yes.
and work through them, like there's nothing you can't do. That's a
Yeah.
force that really can't be stopped, but you know be
Ooh,
yeah.
I like that. That release, that is actually ideally perfect for a Scorpio moon, seeing that the death card is Scorpio's card in the tarot, and that's all about releasing and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Girl, we taking them to church. I don't even know. All right. So next up, we have I just want y'all to know this is natural. We love doing this. Okay, so the next moon is a Sagittarius moon. Here we go with another fire sign. But this is the last fire sign. So this is probably, this is the most mature emotional fire sign.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Mostly,
Yeah.
mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Still has a tendency to be here, be there, be everywhere. Um, it is mutable fire,
Mutable.
so
Yeah.
so when they're there, ooh, you feel it, but then they're gone. So, I would say that, a person with a moon in Sagittarius, they do need a lot of personal freedom within their relationships and within their emotional space. And they need to be out in the world. They need to be meeting people. They need to be traveling. They are probably the really helpful philosophers that you'll find on your journey. They are out there to just have faith that everything is going to work out. But if it gets a little too, dicey, there they go. So, a Sagittarius moon isn't a bad placement. I think that balancing it out with maybe an Earth sun or the right air placement, because the wrong air placement, maybe not wrong, a more challenging air placement could be Gemini.
Shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's opposite. A better air placement could be an Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
A Libra actually would be a really good air placement for a Sagittarius moon, for the sun to be in Libra.
Mm-hmm.
But Sagittarius moons are fun. That is a fun energy. I would encourage all Sagittarius moons to always explore the emotions outside of, like, globally. So really, like, go out there and express and show your emotions out in the world.
Mm,
And it is, I don't think the Sagittarius moon is not really internally expressed. That is a very an expressive type of energy. And so the moon's emotions, they're gonna be expressive.
mm,
That's Sagittarius right there. They are fire.
mm-hmm,
But I rocks with them. I like that moon. That moon also gives a good spark to all creative
mm,
ideas.
mm-hmm.
And just like really just, oh wow, that's kind of out there, but it turns into this amazing project that, goes, as far.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's a very like optimistic moon
oh,
placement
super.
too,
Yeah,
which is nice. And I think Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, yeah.
absolutely.
So that seems like a nice good luck charm type
Yeah.
of, yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
that energy moon, that works real good.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So that leads us to the moon in Capricorn. And spoiler alert, not as happy as moon in Sagittarius. So as with the exaltation and fall, as we mentioned before, the moon is in dominion in Cancer. It is in detriment in Cancer's opposite sign of Capricorn, which is, it's just, it's a hard placement for the moon because Capricorns are not trying to express their inner emotions. And where I advise water sign moon folks to learn boundaries, Capricorn could use with tearing down a few of those walls. Like they
They don't even have
are,
boundaries, they have walls.
yeah, they just have a like a bunker. You know what I mean? Like they're not playing around. And they're part of that is with great ambition is usually
Mm.
coupled with a deep-seated fear of rejection and failure, and it's hard to open yourself up emotionally to people. It's hard to just put your emotions on display if you're attached to them, and most of us are on varying levels, and earth sign and water sign people are pretty deeply attached to their emotions, and in Capricorn I think is the most challenging earth sign moon. It doesn't want to be deemed weak in any way, vulnerable, and those are the moon is not weak, but it is receptive,
Mm.
and it is definitely vulnerable, which is also a form of strength. But Capricorn's not quite there. You know what I mean? They don't
Yeah.
quite embrace that as, part of their reality. So it's it's a tricky place. Like it makes you a Capricorn moon is going to make that person more emotionally reserved. It also can make them more ambitious, and more likely to succeed in career terms. But that's a um, it's a challenging position, frankly.
It's okay.
You know,
Challenges, pressure builds diamonds.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And, depending on other placements in your chart, you can easily lighten up that energy. And anybody can find the strength to start diving deeper into their emotional self.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
a Capricorn, grab a journal. I have a cool one that's called Burn After Writing.
Oh, nice.
And it is basically a bunch of interesting prompts. And the whole idea is you fill it up and then get rid of it if you want to. So it's kind of this low stakes thing, and you're just supposed to pick it up and open up to a page. And it's got some fun and some, deep questions in there, or prompts. And yeah, Capricorn moon, don't try to tamp your emotions down forever. Get in touch with some of that stuff. Let it out. It feels better to let it out. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Tears, you don't cry, they turn into headaches. Just let it out, man. Let it out.
Okay. So we come up to tears to headaches, y'all. That is you know. Okay.
I'm not a doctor, but
I am a Cancer moon. Okay, and a Cancer sun. But anyway, so we come to the moon in Aquarius. And I will say we do have an Aquarius new moon coming up next week. But if you have a moon in Aquarius, well, you know, you tend to really live very detached from your emotions. You analyze and observe them and everything and everyone around you. And you may appear a little aloof, shall we say. However, it does not take away from the fact that you will have a depth of feelings, but just expressing them and doing all that crying, as we said before. There's no crying for an Aquarius moon.
yes, there is.
In a closet by themselves in the dark with a Reese's peanut butter cup, something. Or a journal, maybe. But I would say an Aquarius moon, though, is such a humanitarian at heart. I mean, they love the greater good. They love to do good for I mean, they are the type of emotional sign that will go feed every homeless person just because the community should feel better. They are loners at heart. Again, that comes with the detached nature of what the Aquarian energy is. Aquarian is fixed air and it's ruled by Uranus. So unfortunately, these emotions might be unpredictable here and there. And fixed air, unfortunately, would be a challenge if you're overthinking your emotions and that's all you're doing with them. It's like analysis paralysis. I've heard this so many times because I'm working through it. But an Aquarius moon is definitely going to analyze their emotions and just keep doing that. There might not be anything else beyond analyzing their emotions. And I encourage Aquarius moons to try and follow their Leo moon sisters and really feel their emotions and seek the validations within their closer partnerships. Allow them to kind of bring their feelings closer because genuinely they want to be closer to those partnerships. Not that even though an Aquarian is like the humanitarian sign, which loves everybody emotionally and deep down because it's inward and personal, we do want those close relationships with our personal. So I would say really focus on that. The energy an Aquarius moon gives to a sign is just more kind of detached and just more thoughts than feelings.
Yeah. All right. And lastly, in the zodiac, Pisces. So
Hey.
moon in Pisces. This is a pretty harmonious placement for the moon. You know, if you have a moon in Pisces, you have a sixth sense, possibly a seventh sense. You might have an eighth sense. Like
you literally took it out of my mouth. You're right.
I mean, they're highly psychic, highly intuitive people. Too much so. I mean, again, coupled with Cancer moons, people who really need to learn emotional boundaries. I think even more than Cancer moons, they are susceptible to, you know, emotionally manipulative people, frankly. You know, if you're a Pisces moon, you want to believe people have pure intentions. You have a Pollyanna-ish view of humanity that you shouldn't. They don't deserve that much credit. I'm sorry to say. As a group, we're not doing great. We in the chat in here might be doing great, but as a group, like, if we're just talking numbers, things are looking rough. Okay. But anyway, Pisces moon people are lovely, they're kind and generous they are generous with their emotional energy and love, and can be extremely loyal partners and great friends. They're yeah, they're really need a great lesson in boundary. Like I have written down in my notes, they can't tell, you know, where their own stuff ends and other things begin. They're
The
very receptive,
blurry
mutable.
energy of Neptune.
Yes, and susceptible to just living in a world of their own creating, truly. And all of us, you know, to some extent, our emotions color the world that we perceive. And if you're having a bad day and somebody says something to you that's actually neutral, you may perceive it as very rude and nasty just because your own energy is, you know, reflecting back to you. And Pisces will Pisces moon, you're straight up creating who knows what world you are living in. Like, so staying in touch with, like, you know, water sign moon placements could take from their air sign brethren the ability to like actually have a conversation about emotions. I think Pisces moon, especially, like try putting some of that stuff into words, you know, and talk about it with the people around you. If you're feeling some type of way about, you know, someone coming at you, have a conversation with them. Maybe they're just a Sagittarius moon. You know what I mean? Like they maybe didn't mean anything by it.
Blunt.
Right. And you could be seeing something that's fully not there. And yeah, so, you know, enjoy your wonderful imagination. Pisces moon.
Yes.
Put it into creative projects, but don't imagine yourself into emotional scenarios that aren't actually there.
Ooh, that's good advice. So let's do a quick rundown of the phases of the moon.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll get to, we have like probably time for one question and then we're going to pull a card.
Yeah.
Sound good? All right.
Sounds good. We start every month with a new moon. It's a good time to set intentions.
Yeah. Get a good like reset, because you know you can't really see the moon, you know. It's like it's kind of empty, and it's just the beginning of the phase of the energy that you want to manifest. So you really want to take the time to like set them and like process them, but doesn't mean you're taking action on them, just means you're kind of like, this is what I'm trying to come up with.
Yeah, check in with yourself. What's feeling good? Where are your feelers headed? Then you move into the first quarter moon, and that's a good time for actually like making plans and truly starting things. So now you've had your time at the new moon to empty, you know, the last few weeks from yourself. What am I, what's working for me? What am I working toward next? And then now you work. Now you're actually putting things into plan. And so after the first, quarter moon,
we hit the full moon. And it is time to celebrate. When I say I love full moons, I love full moons. The energy, allowing yourself to just be out there, and you're celebrating your wins. You're celebrating whatever you started in the new moon, and you're really learning to just enjoy and take in all of that energy. The moon is at its best when it's at its full. That's what I feel. It's at its best when it's full. And the air smells different. Your crystals charge brighter, all of that.
Yeah. So you get to the waning moon, and now it's time to take stock of things. All right. So how are things really going? We celebrated. We worked. How is that working?
Yeah, right. We're trying to reflect and
time to reflect, continue along your plan, and then take yourself to the
new moon again.
Yeah, the new moon
again. So like we're in a waning moon energy. So because the new moon will happen between January 31st and February 1st, we are in that last of the reflective time. So now today, guys, just reflect, because it's been a lot.
And release.
Yes,
let go.
Girl.
Like the extra stuff, just try and push it out there, banish it if
Yes.
you have to,
Breathe.
like straight up.
Yes.
This
Sage,
is
Palo Santo. Clap if
yeah,
you need to. Get it out. Snap.
yeah.
Move it. Move it. Move it.
Mm-hmm.
You want a fresh energy for a fresh moon. So it looks like we have a question.
Mm.
Yes. You ready?
Oh,
I
okay.
know, that's
So,
saucy.
yeah. From email, what does retrograde mean if you have the planets retrograding in your chart?
I'm good. I'm just kidding. It doesn't mean that. So anytime, as we've been talking about retrogrades, thank you. If you've been watching, you should be up to date. But it is as if something is going backwards. So it's in your chart, it is reflected very internally. A lot of people won't see how hard it is for you to make that planet work to your best advantage. No, and so like not everybody has retrograde planets. We had a person last week. She didn't have any retrograde planets in her chart.
Zero.
That is almost unheard of, maybe. As far
Because
as we
all
know.
of the outer planets, stepping back a little bit, your Saturns, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, those planets retrograde for months at a time, and most of them spend about half the year in retrograde.
Yeah.
So it's likely if you go and get your natal chart done on the interwebs, as you can do on many websites, and you see a little R next to a planet in your chart, it means it was retrograde at the time you were born. And almost everybody will have one of those outer planets in retrograde. I have all of them. um, but yeah, it's hard out
I
here.
think I do too.
Yeah.
I think I do too. Maybe Uranus isn't retro, but I think I do too. But basically overall, it's not that it's more challenging, just your struggles and battles are very internal. So just always give grace with yourself. Anytime something seems to be a challenge or a struggle, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means you have to find a better way to do it. And using your own energy to reflect on how to make it work. You know what I mean? Like, some people are just built like that. Cass and I are some of those people. You just have to make it work, because the reality is that you were born with this in your chart. So it's not like it's that foreign to you. It's embedded within you. It's in your soul. So it is a part of you, and you have the skills and the ability to work with that energy.
Absolutely. What is that, like that saying that all of our moms had on a plaque? It's like, God, I know God won't give me anything I can't handle. Yeah. I just wish he didn't trust me so much, or something like that.
Never heard that one, but I like it.
Oh, really? Maybe it was like a white lady mom of the 1980s.
I thought you were talking about grant me the serenity for the things I cannot change.
Oh, yes, for sure. Like that. Mm-hmm. The serenity prayer.
Yeah, but that is it. So before we get out of here, Cassie, this is my favorite part of my weeks. Usually every Sunday and Thursday is me and you going all the way.
And
as a reminder, guess what? Tell them, girl.
Okay, so we're having a show this Sunday. Whoop, 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 as we do. But we've listened to your feedback. We're moving it to 10 p.m., guys. We're going to be 10 p.m. Sundays and Thursdays from now until forever, because
we're too old to stay up.
We don't want to be up till 1:30 a.m. posting shit on YouTube.
No,
okay?
No.
It's just not what we want to do on Sunday night.
10 o'clock's a cute hour, I mean, it's like everybody's trying to get cozy. You're not asleep, but you're like, what are we going to do? You're going to hang out with us. So thank you to everybody that has liked and shared. Please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We need a couple more subscribers. And yeah, share this, tell all your friends. Again, if you want to be on the show, you know how to do it. Slide into the DMs. We've had quite a few people do that. Join them. Before we get out of here, we have, in honor of the moon, the Moon Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. If you don't know, I am a tarot card addict. This is a newer deck. I love it. It's just what it is. So let's get a collective message. Collective.
I love the collective messages.
Yeah, because we're all out here. So all your energies is with us. We're with you. So let's see what we talking about. I like this one. Bam! Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. That's
Ooh.
really nice, especially because
Mm-hmm.
the waning moon is in Sagittarius right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a
So,
beautiful card.
um, give me a moment while I find this.
Ugh, I wish the moon changed colors depending on what sign it was in. That would be super.
Girl, it does. Didn't
Can
you
I?
see it the other day? I'm kidding. Okay.
I'm like, wait, what? The full moon wasn't the other
Okay.
day.
I know, right? All right, here we go. Are you thinking too much about the details of your dilemma? Fretting over minutia can be counterproductive, or perhaps you're being all talk and no action. This card is a reminder that while it's a good thing to think things through, sometimes you need to step back and take a look at the bigger picture. What do you see then? What do you then see about your current situation? What's the most positive thought you can have about it? Now is the time to count your blessings, even
Mm.
if you don't yet have exactly what you want. This card is also a reminder that we often have to take a few risks and go with uncertainty on this journey called life. Try to keep an open mind about what's for the best. The universe could surprise you.
Well, all right.
So I say with that, Pank and Pank, I say with that, um, guys, we are here. We are almost through this interesting retrograde season, Capricorn season. We are in Aquarius season right now. We are about to get fired up. The new moon is coming next week. Mercury will be out of retrograde. So, guys, stay sane, stay together, get in touch with your feelings. I mean, now's the time, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to Cassie's going to encourage me to, yeah, I'm
Get
going
a
to do it.
warm hug from the universe, y'all. Venus is going direct. We love you.
We love it. We love it. So thank you again. We out of here. It's all love. Peace.
Bye.